Hey, what's up YouTube? It's Logan, the Metal and Beer Snob here, and I'm here from New Orleans, Louisiana at the peak of Mardi Gras season, but I'm celebrating it in really the wrong way overall, and instead of going to parades and stuff, I'm going to a Grindcore festival. In fact, I went to what was called Mardi-Grind Fest yesterday here at the Poor Boys Bar. So while everyone was, showing off tits and getting beads thrown at them, I was getting my face grinded off by a bunch of obscure grind projects of both bands and, one-man projects. It was definitely an interesting and fun experience and really was a whirlwind. So I wanted to make a quick video to kind of recap the experience, talk about some of these underrated bands, and show off my merch, of course, because it's all about the merch hauls, In Grind we trust. Let's go. And it is, of course, no surprise that the official beer of such a prestigious event as the Mardi-Grind Fest is Pabst Blue Ribbon. Plenty of these were enjoyed and destroyed during the duration of this Grindcore massacre. It was either this or Miller High Life, which I also support wholeheartedly. This is my go-to shitty beer, unapologetically, my go-to concert beer as well. You can't go wrong with a fucking Pabst. It's got a blue ribbon for a reason. But cheers. So yeah, the Mardi-Grind Fest was put on by the main dude at Flooded Mausoleum Records here in New Orleans, and they mainly do like gore grind and just various subgenres of grindcore shirts and stuff. But definitely someone I would encourage you to follow on Instagram if you can. Yeah, it was really cool that this dude, the boss or whatever, put on this festival. There was, I believe, over 10 bands that performed. It kind of became a whirlwind for me. Like, I definitely remember most of the bands, but to be honest with you, it was tough to keep track as the night went along. Like, the bands that I was there to see, I definitely remember, but some of the other random grindcore bands, they are kind of blending together. So I'm going to try to recap every single band that I saw to the best of my ability, but we'll see how it goes. As I said, all I know, the night was a whirlwind of noise, PBR, and actually trash cans being hurled by both the band and audience members throughout the night. Yeah, that's right. I had never seen this before, but these poor receptacle containers kept getting pulled into the pit, and people would just yeet them into the audience and like fucking curve stomp them and just empty the contents, and I don't know, they would just essentially break them down to tiny little pieces. I think 3 to 5 trash cans were decimated by the time the night was over. I even gave myself a solid cut on the thumb from one of these trash cans that was just being hurled around. It was fun. It was weird. I definitely tried to play soccer with one of the trash cans in the pit while I was there. Let's dive into the bands and kind of just my concert experience overall. So first I want to say it kind of felt like I was entering a whole separate underground culture dedicated to grind, and specifically more like the noise grind, gore grind aspect of that grindcore subculture. Honestly, it felt probably would be like similar to the culture surrounding like one man bedroom black metal projects, or like certain black metal subgenres where it's like very niche and still very scene oriented and based around like the geography. I mean, that was really cool to see. I mean, there was a lot of various kind of bedroom grindcore bands, I guess, that focused on really just the one-upping, creating the most gruesome, outlandish music out there, really for simply the sake of it. I mean, we're talking excess for the sake of excess, which, I mean, that's art that I can get behind for sure. So, to me, it was a very cool glimpse at this subculture and this small world within the small world of metal. It's kind of refreshing to stumble upon a scene where there truly are no rules. I mean, we all know that there are rules to metal, and to every single subgenre of metal there are rules, but really for this one, it doesn't feel like that. I mean, there are no rules on what the standard of quality is, or really how you play an instrument, or really what constitutes a band. I mean, we're talking about, there was a band that was just one guy playing the bass with an incomprehensible drum machine in the background, and boom, he's playing live in front of 40, 50 people, like it was nothing. But it's definitely a interesting scene that I think should be discussed more. I don't know. Maybe someone should make a video at some point. Alright, now on to the bands. As I said, it kind of became a whirlwind. A jumbled up mess of just fucking blast beats and pitch shifted vocals. So, I don't know how well I'll be able to remember every single one. But I'm going to go down the list and just mention, what I remember, show off any pictures and stuff that I might have taken. So, first band that I walked into was Slab, which is a local New Orleans band, and one I've been trying to see for a little bit, so I was happy to finally get the chance to see them live. They absolutely killed it. Their sound was a bit more hardcore influenced, I felt, and kind of a bit meatier. Like, there was some true mosh part riffs, and they were a full-fledged 4-piece band. So fun to watch. Really got the crowd started off very energetically. They did start the trash can throwing, literally the trash can next to the stage didn't last very long. It was there 30 seconds before the lead singer yanked it and just fucking hurled it out into the crowd, and that set the tone for the rest of the night, I would say. And then later on the night, I saw another New Orleans band, and I say band very loosely because it was actually just one dude in a fucking piece of paper mask. The band was called Shitload, and I heard it described as NOLA. And I now think of NOLA as inane rambling and just utter nonsense. It must have been fully improvised. I'm assuming the whole set, probably no recorded songs or anything. Anal cunt, basically. Just fucking just destroy his bass that he was playing. The drum machine would just be going insane in the background. And then he would do that for 30 seconds and then stop and then go into some kind of drunken rambling session about what he was doing that day or what he was feeling in that moment, and then do that for 20-30 seconds and then go back into another 20 or 30 second song. It was incomprehensible and not good, but not bad. It was actually interesting. I'm gonna see if I can see Shitload in the future. And then some other bands that I saw that I don't distinctly remember what their sets were, but they were good, and I'm going to try to play some of their music. We got Truquido from Texas. I think I'm saying their name right. And then we got Disease out of Seattle. They were fun too. But once again, it was insane grindcore, and I do not remember too much. then we get to the band Casket Mush, which is a 4-piece from California. And I think they're relatively new. You go to like their Spotify or Bandcamp, and of course they have like 5 or 6 releases, which is impressive but makes sense. I mean, you know, we're not spending that long making this music anyway. It's I imagine it's a push record and see what happens kind of deal. Also, I want to highlight Casket Mush. I was trying to pick up some music from them. Of course, they didn't have any. All they had was a shirt, and it was this dude getting his dick ripped off, and it said below it, "Infinite Castration." I did not buy that shirt. I was tempted, but I did not. All right, and then from there, the next band was called Bulma. They were okay. They were another 2-piece band, and I hate to say it, man, they look like some mumble rappers. You know, like they had the face tattoos, and they were wearing like the oversized baseball jerseys and stuff, and yeah, they had more swoopy hair and shit like that. And I wasn't sure what to expect. I didn't think it was gonna be good, but yeah, it was very noisy. A lot of feedback between songs, a lot of samples and stuff. But when they got going, it was good. I liked it. I'll post it. And from there we get to the bands I was anticipating ahead of time going into this show, and bands that I ended up buying merch from as well. So first, we got First Days of Humanity. I think I probably just ran across this guy's music mainly based on the name First Days of Humanity, spoof of Last Days of Humanity. Very much an anthropological themed gore noise grind out, project. And it's just the one dude who I was actually able to talk to. He was like one of the main guys I talked to while I was at the show. Probably just 20 minutes in total, but it was fun conversation. I don't remember his name specifically, but he's called Tapo on his merch and on Bandcamp, so that's what we're gonna go with. But yeah, super cool dude. He's actually a mathematician working for the government in Arizona. I didn't know most of the projects he was talking to me about. I was trying my best to take notes and to save bands for later. But dude, he's a well of knowledge, and his band First Days of Humanity is just a well of releases. I mean, I think it's only been going for a couple years now. They've got at least half a dozen to 10 albums or splits or whatever out there. Yeah, so thankfully I was previously familiar with First Days of Humanity's material, and I was looking forward to the performance, and it was intense. It lived up to the gore noise aspect. It was really just a wall of indecipherable sound. The drum machine that he was using really just overpowered everything. I could hear like the vocals. I could not hear the bass that he was playing. Still, I was up close and personal. I mean, only a couple feet from this dude as he's like wrenching his guts out. Man, it was gnarly. I didn't get a chance to buy any specific First Days of Humanity merch, which, dude, if you end up watching this, I gotta buy a couple of those tapes, man. I did get a chance to talk to him about some of the other projects, and he just gave me one of them. So he's apparently pretty prolific, not just for First Days, but also other projects too. And he talked to me about this project right here, Asphyxiant. So this is him and a couple other dudes on vocals who all have military experience. I mean, this is probably like 4 minutes of gnarly grindcore. It's a bit more fleshed out than First Days of Humanity. I mean, there's actual guitars here, The vocals are a bit more discernible. The drum machine is also a bit more reined in and a bit more varied as well. Check out First Days of Humanity and see if you can stumble onto any of his other projects as well, such as Asphyxiant. Then the follow-up one-man grindcore project that I was excited to see was Hakugu Grind Time. I probably did not say that right at all, but you know, I tried. And I totally forgot, but this is actually an Andrew Lee project. Andrew Lee from Rip to Shreds and Azaf and his like shred band Shrapnel. Yeah, and as soon as I walked in, I saw him at the merch booth. I knew I was in for a good time. It was cool to see Andrew. I talked to him for a little bit. Very nice guy. I definitely enjoyed his set. He was a bit more dynamic than some of the other one-man grindcore projects of the evening, and you could definitely feel the tongue-in-cheek vibe from the music, just because of the basis of it. I mean, it's all about anime, essentially, the whole fucking thing. And then, of course, when he gets up on stage, he puts, like, a samurai headband on, and it's just him up there with once again, a drum machine. It's impossible to take it seriously, and that's where the fun and just enjoyment of this music comes in. So I had to go by the merch booth, and I bought his 2 7-inches that he had for sale. This is... his most recent one came out last year, 2023. I thought this was Asuka from like Neon Genesis Evangelion, but it's not. It's some other anime which I am not privy to. Oh look, it's on red, but still gnarly shit. And look, it's a split with Mietis. So. And actually, I really like this side. They're a bit more death metal leaning, and I definitely dig that. So, Mietis is cool too. And then the other split I got, 7-inch, is Do You Love Anime? Part 7. Great question for parties. Or first dates. And I like the color of this vinyl pressing. Look at that. Like, Coke bottle, translucent slime green. But yeah, this one, this one's fun. I think I like the song titles on here the most. Sorry, I'm Not Japanese. Cruel Grinder's Thesis. It's another Neon Genesis reference. And Gotta Mince 'Em All. And then it's a split with the other band, Blue Holocaust, which is actually a band I've been wanting to try to collect for a little bit. So I'm glad to have them as well. This is Nilbog Attack. And then the next band I want to talk about is actually the last band I saw of the evening. And really a band that I saw get a lot of hype last year in 2023. I'm talking about Sulfur Crotch. I was extremely curious to see how such an intense, over-the-top album could be pulled off in a live setting. And goddammit, it lived up to my expectations. This shit was just incomprehensible brutality, and it was just from 2 people. I actually did not realize this was just a 2-person project. A drummer and a guy, vomiting, essentially, and playing the guitar. But I love how in the booklet it lists the members, and of course it's just, 1-letter initials. I, he blasts and vomits. In V, he plays guitar, bass, and also vomits. So, at least they got the vomiting covered. It was really cool to see this style of music played with an actual drummer and not a drum machine. On recording, the drummer just absolutely dominates the sound overall, especially the snare drum. That's like the MVP of the album is the fucking snare sound. And in the live setting, it's no different. The drummer just takes your attention, and that's kind of who you're watching for the majority of it. It was cool to see, and kind of a breath of fresh air after all of the drum machine projects. Great band. I was able to pick up. This is their latest full length. And then it leaves one band, which was kind of my main draw for the evening. I stumbled across this band last year, and their album ended up being one of my go-to grindcore albums for 2023. I'm talking about Noisy Neighbors. Noisy fucking Neighbors. And these guys are just fun, man. They're definitely tongue-in-cheek. Their on-stage banter was perfect. They were touring mainly for their new album, Derailing the Hype Train. This is actually what's been in the background this whole time. So I've been listening to this like non-stop since I was finally able to pick it up on physical yesterday. A nice 30-minute long, 17-track slab of grindcore with a little bit of death metal influence and a little bit of that D-beat style too. They're definitely trying to highlight the fact they're raw, D-beat, grindcore, and proud. So, yeah, no, these guys killed it. A three-piece band, but very energetic, very personable. Enough death metal influence in that, like that D-beat, like hardcore vibe to kind of break up the intense wall of sound that all the other bands were bringing. So, really a breath of fresh air in comparison to everything else. But yeah, these guys are from Texas, and they definitely play a very politically incorrect style of grind, and yeah, have fun while doing it. Also, I found out that Trevor Sternad does guest vocals on this album, on the track Pattern of Abuse. So another reminder of how legit of a dude Trevor was, and how involved in like every single extreme metal scene he was. I mean, straight up the real deal. That was Trevor. So rest in peace, man. But yeah, Noisy Neighbors was the band I was most excited to see, and they lived up to the hype. Got the shirt. I'll show you the back. It's fucking awesome. Picked up the CD. They threw in a couple stickers. Gotta love that. And then I got an air freshener. And this is apparently strawberry flavored, because when you think raw D-beat grind, you don't think stale beer and cigarettes. You think strawberries. That's going in my car for sure. And there you have it. That was Mardi-Grind 2024. Just a fun experience that I would repeat every month, every week if I could. I'll probably just have to settle to every year, hopefully. Bring it back. But yeah, guys, cheers. Thanks for watching. Drink good beer, listen to good metal, and in grind we trust.